Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Contact Lost, where we still focus on the WTC coverage. I'm Joker, and with me today is Bogdan from Team Romania. Hello.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, thanks for coming here. We're very happy to have you. So, Team Romania managed to achieve Best Improved. Is that how the award is called?
Yeah, most improved team, something like that. It's the first
Most
time I think
Improved.
they give out this award, so we were
Oh, okay.
taken back
I,
by by the fact we won something.
Oh, I mean must have been a great surprise,
Yeah,
but
it was
very
nice.
nice. Nevertheless, first of all, congratulations on the achievement, and in my humble opinion, it's quite an achievement because last year you finished second to last, I think,
Yeah,
and
generally we've placed like in the last spots or 24, 22, something like that. We got 18, I think, in 2016 or something like that.
mhm.
That was the highest we got, but it were less teams then. So I think we're like 28 teams, something like that. So yeah, this year was our best placement overall through all the WTCs and ETCs that we've been part of.
Yeah, and it's quite an amazing finish. You finished 17th for the record, which is a 9 place improvement. But there's actually been 8 more teams this year than last year, so
Yeah.
that that doesn't the amount of places you ended up higher doesn't really paint the whole picture, and I think it's worth mentioning. Right, so why don't you tell us a little bit to begin with? How does the 40K scene look like in Romania? Is 40K a big thing? Are there a lot of people playing? Are there a lot of people playing competitively?
So in Romania, 40K basically started out in 2008. No, 2007, something like that. I started playing since 2008. We found a club in Bucharest, and since then it's been steadily increasing, but not too much as it's quite expensive for us here. So I think we got now to around 30 to 40 players in our club in Bucharest,
Hmm.
and mostly there's another club in Timișoara, which is not another big city in the west of the country, another one in Cluj, north of the country, northwest of the country. Both of them, I think, have like 20, 30 players each. So maybe like 100, 120 players across the whole country that actually play 40K.
Hmm.
That's like normal 40K, not competitive. Competitive, I think we have like 20 people that actually play it competitively, mostly ex WTC or ETC players.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think the problem is we don't have that many clubs in Bucharest. There's only one club that has a place to play and organizes tournaments. In Timișoara, there's also only one that I know of. Cluj, the same, and the rest of the country, there's nothing happening in 40K.
Okay. So do you actually have a lot of tournaments happening? And at those tournaments, do all those 20 competitive players gather, or it's not
Uh,
exactly a thing?
so the 20 players that we have are spread around the country. In Bucharest, I think we have like 10 of those people, and the rest are
Hmm.
in the other cities. So in tournaments are actually more catered to the more casual crowd, as we have like newer players or younger players, not so competitive. They still find the greatest internet list and try to play them.
As
So
one does.
as one does, exact. They don't play them very well, but they still try to be competitive, which is a good thing compared to the other years where
Hmm.
uh, people played like whatever they liked and whatever they thought it was cool, and then ended up losing and didn't like the game that much. So yeah, a lot of tournaments in Bucharest. We try to hold one like one every month. Either it's a RTT or a 2 day event.
Hmm.
But as there's only one club that actually organizes the tournaments, and the player base is only so big, we can't do too many tournaments because we oversaturate those players, and
Hmm.
they divide between 40K, Kill Team, Age of Sigmar, what else? Flames of War. We also have a big Flames of War team that does really well, a lot better than us. in the, they actually took second place at the ETC or something like that. So
Oh, okay.
they're a lot
Mm,
better than us.
good for them.
Yeah.
Right. And are team tournaments a thing with such a relatively small scene, or do you not really
No,
do any of those?
we haven't done any of those. I think this summer, right now, they're trying to organize one here, but
Hmm.
as the club is quite small, there's only like room for maximum 9 tables in the shop. We can't do a big team tournament. It's hard to find a venue here in Bucharest that can hold an event. Most of them are too expensive, and they would raise the ticket prices too much, and people won't come.
Hmm.
We're trying to organize a big one now here in Bucharest, but it's a challenge, so to say.
Understood. So, in those circumstances, how do you choose and compose a team for the WTC?
So we started out in the first WETC we went to was in 2012. We were 8 guys. We were all friends. We were all same club, and just okay. Let's go to the ETC. Fine, pick whatever armies we had. Let's go. It was amazing, and we loved it. And since then, um, we tried to pick like the most competitive players, the people that had the financial freedom, so to say, that could come
Hmm.
every year. We ended up having like a small core of competitive players that we choose every year from them to come. For example, this year we had like 5 returning players from last year. 2 new players. One of them was he started playing 40k, I think, half a year ago, something like that. Our Necon player, which
Okay.
ended up being our best, one of our best players.
Oh, so he was a prodigy.
Yes, he was the hope of the country, so to say. He
Nice.
he did really, really well. Yeah. The other one was the Thousand Sun player, which is was his first big tournament. And one other, the eighth player was a veteran of WTC, but he played his first game of 10th edition in the singles event at WTC.
Okay.
So yeah, he had some troubles at home, and he couldn't actually commit to playing the games
Hmm.
before WTC. But he's a really good player. So those 7 matches in the singles really paid off for him. So yeah, that's how we choose. Basically, the captain chooses the team. And the captain is voted in
Hmm.
by the ex members of the. We have a Discord server where people actually vote and say, okay, this year we want this guy to be the captain or this guy to be the captain, and then the captain chooses the team based on who can come and who has the best results that year in tournaments
Okay.
outside or in Bucharest or in Romania.
Okay. And I have to ask. So, do you guys tend to travel to tournaments in other countries, or not necessarily so? Beside the WTC itself, of course. To like I
Um,
don't know Alpine or
yeah,
whatever.
we have people that go to Alpine. We have like I think 3 to 4 players that go to tournament outside. But generally not that much. WTC or the War Master one is the one we go every year, most of us. But
Hmm.
I don't have time to travel to tournaments around with the family and with the shop here. But we have a few players that travel that go to Austria or Germany or Poland for tournaments.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Um, right. So, were there any differences then in terms of choosing the team from last year and this year? Was it a change of captain, or because you've had 5 returning players, so not exactly much change in the squad itself, but did anything change in terms of, I don't know, team selection or preparation?
Um, so last year we kind of messed up with our lists. I think that's we attributed our bad performance. We
Hmm.
discovered once we got to the WTC and started doing some pairings. When we found out which pod we were in and tried to do some pairings at home and stuff like that, we discovered that we were all afraid of the same matchups. So our team wasn't very put together, so to say, and we
Hmm.
had to protect some players from other matchups and stuff like that. And back then, Sisters, Necrons, and Tyranids were the king of the crop. They were the top dogs. Sisters scoring points by doing nothing. Necrons as well. Tyranids shooting you off the table with harpies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we messed up our some of our pairings, as Tyranids ended up playing against Sisters in a lot of our pairs, or a lot of pairings, and because of that, they didn't get many points. Our sister player didn't get that many points as well. The only one who actually pulled his weight and got points to the team were the Eldar and Necron players.
Mm-hmm.
The Harlequins, the Harlequin and Eldar players. Um, we had, I think we had Admech player, which didn't do so well, but he was one of our strongest players, and because he had, not say a bad list, but he had a lot of bad matchups. His list had a lot of bad matchups. He couldn't
Yeah,
bring a lot of
Adamek wasn't
points.
really good at the time already, so.
Exactly, and but he was a really good player, and generally he brought points. But that year he didn't bring that many points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what changed is this year being with the indexes and everyone having a let's say a more even playing field to start off with, um, compared to last year where we knew what the lists were, how to play, what the meta is, so to say,
Mm-hmm.
but we fucked up our pairings and our the minutia, the the finer details in our lists were missing. So we had bad pairs, bad matchups. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what made us lose a lot of games last year.
Okay, so this year, did you manage to put in more preparation, more, I don't know, mock-up pairings going into the
Yes,
event, more test games?
yes. This year compared to other years, we most of our players trained a lot more, especially on Tabletop Simulator. They even had a training session, I think, with Austria. Some of our players. Um, and because of Tabletop Simulator, we managed to play with around the people around the country, because our team, they're not all from Bucharest. We have two players
Mm-hmm.
from Cluj, two players from Timișoara, the rest are from Bucharest. And so using TTS, we managed to train a lot more and see a lot more of the lists. uh, and we have a few players that went to tournaments abroad. I think there was an invitational right before the WTC in Austria, something like that.
I think there was one, yeah, at the
Uh,
beginning of July, I think, in Salzburg.
exactly, something like that. And we had
Mm-hmm.
a few players that went there. We were invited to go there,
Oh, okay.
and we found out the meta and stuff like that earlier, so to say. As we don't play many team tournaments, all our meta or our ideas of lists come from internet or the single events around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we don't have those queue lists that other teams have, like Australia bringing Tervigons last year or something like that, or you don't know, like those weird lists that you look at in
Oh, yeah,
teams and say,
they
"What the
they
hell is
always
this
have
supposed to
crazy stuff.
play?" Exactly. In this
Yeah, there
year,
were a couple of lists like that this year as well
yeah,
across a number of teams.
yeah. For example, we didn't see like the guard being good this year, but apparently it was really good this year. We thought the Knights would do better. They didn't do better at all. I think that was one of our biggest mistakes this year, but taking Knights. But we didn't have anything else to bring. Maybe we should have brought Tau. Now thinking back at it, because the player that played Knights, his main army was Tau, and I think he would have done a lot better even with Tau, since
Okay.
instead of the Knights.
Okay, that's an interesting take. But before we go, we'll touch on team composition. But
Hmm.
you've mentioned TTS, and I forgot to ask about it. So, is TTS a big thing now? Do you guys play a lot on it, or do you do a lot
Uh,
of scrimmages? You've mentioned you've done one with Austria. Uh,
yes, it is actually pretty commonly used here in Romania. I mean, our main Discord server, our Romanian Discord server for people play every night. There's like 2-3 games happening on the Discord.
mhm.
So yeah, it's easy to use. You can test any lists you want. The terrain is always consistent. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty useful for training.
Yeah, definitely. But was that something that you've like discovered over the course of this year, or did you train on TTS
We
before
used
last
it.
year's event as well?
We used it more this year. We used it last year as well because we are from different cities, so we had to use it. But
Hmm.
this year we used it a lot more. We played a lot more games on TTS and tested a lot more on it. So I think that showed a little that we had a more practice games in it. Even
Yeah,
it's still
definitely.
not the same as playing on the table. But
No, but like you said, it allows you to test. It allows you to get a gasp of what you want to do on the table with your list, etc., etc. So it's definitely a handy tool. And do you guys do any like meetups or boot camps or anything of that sort, where like the whole team just gets together at a
yes,
weekend or whatever? And Mhm.
we this year being so short notice, like we waited from week to week for a new FAQ to come out, either from GGW or from WTC. We didn't have time to put up a boot camp or stuff like that. We just played on TTS. But generally, yeah, we have like weekends that the whole team comes to Bucharest, or we go to Timișoara or someplace
Mhm.
else, and we discuss lists and we play some games. Hopefully, this year we'll do a boot camp abroad as well. I know Team Austria invited us to a boot camp sometime last year, but we didn't end up going. Maybe
Oh,
this year is gonna happen. We're gonna go. Yeah, we enjoy boot camps. It's a good idea. It's a good thing.
yeah, definitely. You can add the socializing aspect, which you can't do on TTS. Probably
Yeah.
one of TTS's biggest downsides. Um, it's actually interesting to hear you're looking forward to one abroad. It seems to be a more common thing throughout teams from all countries. So the competition should only get more and more interesting. Right. So what about your team composition for this year then? I have to be honest, I did not have a chance to double check what you brought this year, so I'm going to rely on you.
Okay. So this year we knew we wanted Eldar. Wanted Thousand Suns, Chaos Space Marine, Custodes, and Necrons. As 5 players of our teams knew these armies. They knew they were
Hmm.
good. They were their main armies, so we had to bring these ones. Eldar were Eldar, of course. Thousand Suns were really good. Chaos Space Marines, the player was really confident in them, so we liked them a lot. Custodes, they're really good. Necrons as well. And we ended up with 3 lists that we didn't know what to take. So then we found out that GSC were broken as shit because they come back everything. So we picked GSC. The guy who played GSC this year was our generally our Eldar player, but we
Hmm.
gave Eldar to another player and he took GSC. He didn't play GSC at all up to this, like a few weeks before the event, but he did okay with them. I'm proud of him. Um,
Oh, you
and
guys are
then
quite spontaneous by the sounds of things.
yes, because of this year, because of the FAQs that came out, we didn't have time to test along the whole year to see what was good. So we had to like, okay, GSC is good. Okay, can you play this army? Yeah, we have the models. Yeah, I can give you some of the models. Let's get to some of those from other teams, other players across the country. Okay, we got the list. Next list, Thousand Suns. You have everything. Okay, you have everything. Good, you can play them, and stuff like that. And then we had Space Marine, which was played by the guy that didn't play any games until the singles event, and
Mhm.
he basically assembled his army and painted his army until the last day we left from for the event. That's mostly why he didn't play any games because he had to paint everything so
Mhm.
fast. And then we were left with one list that we didn't know what to take, and we ended up taking knights. It was, I don't know, last minute decision. The guy who played knights, who usually played Tau, he was a good Tau player, but we thought Tau weren't so good this edition. Apparently, they were pretty good, especially with our team comp. I think we could have used Tau a lot more than US Knights. We ended up having to, I don't know, we paired Knights a few times in mirror matches, which was a, I don't know, 4-up game. Who had more four
Mm,
ups?
yeah, very much swingy.
Yeah. And the rest we had to watch out for them. Thousand Suns were a really bad matchup for them. Eldar, not to say the obliterated knights. Chaos Space Marines, the same. the only thing that I think they were good against was custodes and necrons, mostly because he had two crusaders in his list and he could just outshoot them off the table,
Mm-hmm.
even with their high durability. So yeah, uh, basically the knights I think was our weakest list, but
And the knights always need the table choice, right? It's
yep,
always something that you
exactly,
need to keep in
exactly,
mind.
exactly.
So, and they're not the only army that wants to have a table.
Yeah, Eldar also want the table to, but the Eldar this turn they were really overpowered, so they didn't need that much help, so to say.
Yep. Right. And then we had the pod draw, and you guys ended up in a pod with Bulgaria, England, and Spain. So one could argue that you actually had two seed one teams in England and Spain. So how did you guys feel about that going into the event?
We were really excited. We always enjoy playing against the good teams. I mean,
Hmm.
Germany, England, Scotland, yeah, Austria. I mean, those games are like the best ones for us because we learn a lot from those games. People in those teams are really nice. We always enjoy, even we get our asses kicked. It's always a fun experience, amazing experience. So when we saw that we were playing against Spain and England, was yes, we're gonna learn how to play 40k 10th edition by the time we get to face the other teams. So we were really excited. And Bulgaria, it's our neighbor. We played a few against a few of the guys in Bulgaria at tournaments here in Bucharest, so we knew them.
Hmm.
So we were really happy. I think we were really happy with the pod. It was good for us. Even though we lost against Spain and England, we didn't have any fighting chance against them. But I think we put up a little fight. After the first round was over, and our first round was against Spain, and we lost like I think we took like 50 points or something, 54 points against Spain.
Hmm.
And then we looked at the other teams at what they did in the first round. We saw like there was uh, like they took 10 points, 15 points, 12 points against other teams. So we were thinking, okay, we did good against Spain compared to other people in the first round. We did okay. And then the game against England was we were like, I think we were confident in the pairings. We thought, okay, we did good. We found out later that we didn't do so good against them, but still we managed to get some points against them as well. But I mean, we didn't get like 10 points.
Hmm.
Romania used to hold the record for worst uh, beating received at the WTC. We played Denmark in our first year in 2012. I think we scored like 15 or 16 points against them, and we hold the record for the worst loss until a few years later, I think. So yeah, we were happy with the points got what we got that we got, and then we played Bulgaria.
So yeah,
Yep.
let's take a step back, and I want to go into a little bit more detail about your games. So you mentioned you played Spain round one. Do you remember how the pairings went? Which faction of yours played which faction of theirs, and that kind of stuff?
I think I have them noted down. Just a second. I have the scoring sheet. WTC. There. Okay. So in Spain,
Hmm.
we had our GSC player in playing into demons, which he lost 20 nil. Our Thousand Suns played their GSC players. Their GSC, I don't remember the score this one, but I think he lost as well. But I don't know how hard.
Hmm.
Thousand. Our Knights played against their Thousand Suns. We lost 20-0. This was a really bad matchup. We knew it was a bad matchup. We failed the pairings here. Our Eldar played against the Orcs. We won. I think it was 16-4 for us. We played the mirror match of Custodes. We won
Mm-hmm.
it. I think we won 12-8. Our Space Marine played against Astra Militarum. I think it was a 20. We lost 20-0 in that one, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I don't have the scores.
Okay.
Um, our Chaos Space Marine played against their Eldar. We lost it. And our Necrons played against the Blood Angel list, Space Marine list, and he won the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I think we got like 3 20-0s against us, and the rest we scrounged up some points. We messed up
Yep.
the pairings with Thousand Suns into Knights. Also, our Chaos Space Marine players into Eldar, which he was supposed to bring some points against another army, and he got paired into Eldar and couldn't do much against them. The demons were a real surprise. I mean, our Eldar losing against them in. Actually, no, no, I don't think he lost against I mean, the
You
GSC.
said
Sorry, our GSC.
GSC.
Yeah, the GSC pairing into demons. We thought he'd do a lot better in demons, but he got tabled by the demons. So he
Okay, so were the dice play a role
no.
in that game, or was
No,
the
he didn't know how to play against demons. He thought
okay?
he trained against demons here in Romania against some local players, which were not, let's say, the best players in demons. And when he
Mm-hmm.
got to the WTC and plays against the player who actually knew what demons did and how to play
Mm-hmm.
them, he discovered that he had no chance in that matchup whatsoever. He basically, I think, it played a part that his drop turn he didn't do much
Mm-hmm.
with it, and then the demons fought back and just pushed him off the table. He canceled all his blips by rushing him with everything, and I think the demon list was made exactly to pair into GSC. He had a little tech with blood crushers with a herald in them or something that was really good in GSC
Mm-hmm.
because he advanced around across the table, charged, and just reached the other end of the table, taking out blips along the way, which was devastating to the GC player.
Right. But you've managed to score 54 points, which I understand was quite a good result for you guys. One that you were happy with, at least.
Yeah, we knew we were gonna lose the matchup, so the game, so it was okay. We hoped for more, but 54 was, I think, we showed down. We put up a little fight.
Definitely. And then game number two, you came against England.
Yeah. So in this matchup, our Chaos Space Marine player played against Eldar. I don't have the results of the matches. I didn't write them down for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our Eldar player played against Deathwatch. Our Imperial Knights played against Chaos Space Marines. Genestealer Cult played the mirror match in Genestealer Cult. Custodes played the Astra Militarum. Necrons played Thousand Suns. Space Marines played Custodes. And Thousand Suns played their Tyranids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact. Let me see if I find it on best close pairings. What we did.
I can see that you scored 49 as a team, but I can't see the individual scores, to be honest.
It was round 2, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, so our Space Marine player lost 20-0 against the Custodes.
Mm-hmm.
Our Genestealer Cult drew with their Genestealer Cult in the mirror matchup. Our Eldar player beat the Deathwatch 13-7. Our Knights lost 16-4 against their Chaos Space Marines. The Tyranids won against our Thousand Suns 11-9. The Eldar beat our Chaos Space Marines 19-1. The Thousand Suns drew against our Necrons, and Astra Militarum won 18-2 against our Custodes.
Hmm.
So we had like 2 draws and 1 win against again. Yeah, and the rest we lost.
Um,
Yeah, we had some bad matchup. I see. I think we didn't know what Astra Militarum did, and they just obliterated the Custodes. They couldn't walk up the table because of their shaker cannons, and just
yep.
they slowly moved up, and by they shot to death. We paired our Chaos Space Marine to Eldar again, which was very good. He lost.
Oh,
Uh,
nothing paired into Eldar is good. So.
yeah, but we would prefer to pair a list that didn't get so many points against other matchups. Chaos Space Marine used to get more points, and the player was a really good player, so he could have done a lot better against, I think, other matchups. I mean, I would prefer to pair like our Imperial Knights or Space Marines. At least we know we lost it, but the Chaos Space Marine player would have got more points against somebody else.
Hmm.
Then let's say the Tyranids won 11-9 to our in our Thousand Suns. I remember that our Thousand Suns players said that was a really close matchup, and he could have drawn the game, drew the game, but I think he missed the charge in the last turn or something like that to get some points. It was like
Hmm.
a real swing in the last turns. The Knights lost against the Chaos Space Marines. I don't know much about the matchup. I think he just got
Okay.
shut off the table. Eldar won against Deathwatch. No news there. The draw of the Genestealer Cult Mirror, I think, was a really good game for us
Hmm.
future because our GSC player learned a lot about the army playing against their GSC. So it was a really good, really good game for us, even if we just draw. And the Space Marine player lost against their Custodes because, yeah, couldn't do much. He couldn't shoot the
Hmm.
Custodes off the table fast enough. I think I
Right.
remember he had really bad dice in that game. I was walking around the table and he said I couldn't kill a single Custodes in 2 turns or something like that, even with the doctrines and
Hmm.
the buffs and everything.
Right. But you've mentioned that you enjoy playing the top teams because you learn a lot, and
Yes.
the game with England was your last loss in the tournament. So,
Yeah.
did you get any immediate lessons from those two games? Did it affect how you paired later on in the tournament, or did you guys just get familiar
Yeah.
with your armies, etc.?
Uh, People started learning more about their armies, what they do, and what their limits are, so to say. And we also learned that we never pair. We try to pair Chaos Space Marine from now on into something that we knew they would get more points than into Eldar, and try to
Mm,
pair Eldar with something else and feed them something, like throw something to the wolves to them, so to say.
yep.
Um, we learned that our Imperial Knights are not a very good list, and we had to like protect them a little. See, find them like either a mirror matchup where let the dice decide.
Decide.
Yeah, other than knowing for sure that they're gonna lose the matchup.
Hmm.
Um, what else? Our GSC player learned how to play his list properly by playing against the GSC player. Um, and yeah, we learned basically some of our limitations as a team, what we couldn't pair and what we could pair, and what people were confident into pairing and stuff like that. That's generally what we learned against playing against really good teams.
Okay, and then game three comes along against your mates from Bulgaria. So how did that pan out?
So in this one, our Chaos Space Marine player was paired into Tau. He won 19-1. The Eldar was paired into Space Marines. He won 18-2. Our Imperial Knights was paired into Custodes, and he shot him off the table. He won 17-3. Our Genestealer cult mirrored their Genestealer cult again. and I
Mm-hmm.
think we lost this matchup. Our Gene Stealer cult had really bad dice that turn. Again, his drop turn did absolutely nothing. He couldn't kill, I think, the aberrants or something. No, um, I think he came, he shot, and just didn't kill enough models, and then he was shot off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, our custodes played against the Eldar and managed to get 4 points, better than what Chaos Space Marine did in the other previous two games. So that was a good thing for us.
Yep.
Necrons,
Progress.
yeah, Necrons paired into Chaos Space Marines, and they won 11-9. Our Space Marines were paired into Asta Militarum. They lost 13-7. But starting from now on, our Space Marine player never lost a game. I mean, he lost his games, but he always came back with points, like 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Even into terrible matchups, we generally threw him to the wolves, like, or under the bus,
Mm-hmm.
so to say. But he always brought points. He never like got any 20 zeros. And then
So
the
he
last
just
matchup
needed 10
was,
games of 10th at the event to get going.
yeah, something like that, I think. Uh, yeah, maybe like something like that. And the last match was our Thousand Suns against their Imperial Knights. And I think our Thousand Suns, he lost the match against the Imperial Knights because he didn't know the matchup really well. I told them, like, you have a good matchup against Imperial Knights, just do what you do. But he didn't play the matchup before. He didn't know exactly. And I remember that he dropped Magnus. Turn two, he kept it in reserves,
Mm-hmm.
and turn two, he deep struck Magnus right next to the Imperial Knights. He didn't manage to kill the Knights because 4-up save, invulnerable, and I think, or he failed to wound or something, and he couldn't kill the Knights, and he was in Melta range of all the Knights, and the Magnus blew off the table.
Yep. That tends to happen when you get a lot of melters to the face at short range.
Yeah, and
Um,
we found out that the Melta rule was not. Um, Magnus can make a damage 0,
yeah.
but the Melta 6 is not affected
Mm-hmm.
by this. So yeah, you make the damage 0, but you still take the 6 damage from the Meltas. So that was
From
hard
the
for him
melter rule, yeah.
for the Melta rule. Yeah.
Right. Okay, and is that all of the scores?
Yeah, I think that's all of it. We
Right,
managed to
and
get
you
83 points. No, 80
93.
93 points. Yeah, I missed this one. Yeah, 93 points. Yeah,
So you did get a win at the end of the pod, which must have been very nice.
yeah, it was
And
a confidence boost after two losses against Spain and England. This was a little confidence boost.
yeah, but
Where,
two losses against highly established teams,
yeah,
and you did
that's
not
why
go down
we
without a fight. So
we
you've
weren't upset about the losses. Yeah.
yeah, and you've pulled the lessons from those games. Before we move on to the Swiss phase, I forgot to ask how many people were actually on your team? Because from my observations, it looked like the average team size would be around 10 to 12 people. So, apart from the 8 people playing, did you have any non playing staff?
So we had the 8 players. I was the captain. I was not playing. I was captain
Oh,
slash
okay.
coach. It was the first year I didn't play. I We had two new people that wanted to come this year, so I gave up my spot to one of the new guys, as I didn't do so well last year and I didn't have time this last year to do any tournaments out abroad or anything like that. So I was a bit rusty in 10th edition.
Mm-hmm.
So we had like 8 players, me as coach slash captain, and two more girls that were the wives or two of our players, who were coaches and
Mm-hmm.
there for moral support. Yeah, so I think we're 11 in total. That was our whole team.
Okay. And did you have any non playing staff last year?
We had one, I think, just one person last year.
Right. And to summarize this little digression, do you think that uh, the fact that you had 2 more coaches helped you out in any way?
I think this is one of our main my main takeaway from this WTC is that me not playing as a captain and coach, it was a lot easier for me to go around the tables and tell the people, okay, you need to push more, you need to be conservative with how you play, uh, telling people like push harder or be more defensive. And I had time a lot to do to do the matchups, the pairings more. I think it helped. It helped a lot easier by having
Hmm.
a coach, so to say, for me being a coach and helping around the tables more.
Okay, that's pretty cool. We will come back to that later on, but let's go through your Swiss phase games first. And the first opponent on the Saturday was Iceland, from what I can see in Best Coast pairings. So a team that, well, at least we, looking from the outside, consider them a bit of a dark horse, a team that might shoot above their seed three placing from last year. They've done a lot of traveling. They've done quite a bit of
Hmm.
preparing. um, did you have any insight on that, and how did you feel going into that game against them?
I think we played Iceland before WTC or ITC, and we know they were great. They were great guys in the team. We had fun playing them before, so we didn't know half the team. I think was new or people that we didn't know them directly.
Hmm.
We were pretty confident going into the matchup. We thought we would do like maybe pull out the win, something like that. Turned out we drew them. I think we had the two games that the dice were really against us, and one matchup that we kind of fucked up pairings that
Hmm.
shouldn't have happened. But uh, we were confident going into the matchup, I think.
Okay, that's good. And so, how did the pairings look like?
So our Chaos Space Marines were got paired into their GSC, and he got 9 points. Eldar was mirrored with Eldar, and he got 16 points. We got the Imperial Knight mirror that we lost to. He only brought the 8 points. Our Gene Stealer cult played the Custodes, and they drew. This one was one of our bad matchup, I think. Gene
Hmm.
Stealer cult shouldn't have played Custodes here. Um, our Custodes played their Thousand Suns, and we lost. This I know that he had very bad rolls in the game. Um, we got only 6 points in this matchup. Our Necrons played the Death Watch. This we thought we were going to lose, but actually we won 12-8. Death Watch being so good at killing infantry, we thought we had a bad matchup, but our Necron player pulled out the win. Our Space Marines played their Chaos Space Marines. Again, he took back only 7 points, but he didn't. We thought he was going to lose 20-0, but he got 7 points,
Hmm.
which is good for us. And our Thousand Suns played their Necrons and got 10 points. This was another. We were we thought we were going to win this matchup, but we ended up drawing it. I think again it was something with dice or he misplayed something. I think. So
Hmm.
basically, our Imperial Knight Mirror was a 4-up game. We didn't, so we lost. I think if we had, yeah, if we have won this one, I think we would have won the round. And also
No, yeah, definitely.
the Custodes in the Thousand Suns also was we lost with, and we thought we are gonna win 15-5, but we
Hmm.
lost 14-6.
Okay, so I understand that from your predictions out of the pairings, you were hoping, looking at a win.
Yes,
You did get a draw in the end, scoring
seven.
78.
Yeah, 78.
So, how did you guys feel after that game? How was the morale? Was it a little bit down because you felt confident going into the game after pairings, or you were just collected
Honestly,
yourself quickly and
for me
on to
it
the
was
next one?
nerve wracking because I was going around the tables and looking at seeing people fail at dice and seeing some of the bad matchups. It was really nerve wracking, and halfway through the round I was thinking, oh fuck, we're gonna lose this round.
Hmm.
But then at the end, seeing that we actually managed to pull a draw, it was it was sad that we lost, but in the end, we knew Iceland was a really good team. So even a draw for us was okay. We didn't. It wasn't a disappointment, so to say, for us.
Hmm. Right. Understood. Okay. Next game was against the Greece.
So going against Greece, looking at the pairing matrix now, we
Hmm.
weren't very confident going into the matchup. A lot of red and yellow in the
Okay.
matchup. So yeah, that was. We knew we played Greece before. I think at WTC. I think they beat us before, so we weren't very confident in the matchup. We were hoping for a draw, seeing as the how the pairing matrix looked for us.
Hmm.
So we, by getting it, we were really happy, so to say.
Hmm.
Our Chaos Space Marine got paired in Thousand Suns, and he drew, got 10 points. Our Eldar was paired into Tau. He got 17 points, which is good for us. But again, it's Eldar. They always get points. Our Imperial Knight was paired into Space Marines. He got 10 points. Our GSC was mirrored with GSC again, but this time he won the matchup 14-6. At Custodes, played against Eldar. We only got 3 points there. Our Necrons mirrored their Necrons, and we lost this matchup. We got only 6 points. Our Space Marine played into Imperial Knights. We lost this matchup, but we got 8 points. And our Thousand Suns played into Custodes, and we won by with 11 points. So looking at these matchups, our Thousand Suns into Chaos Space Marines, we thought we were going to win it, but we only
Hmm.
got 10 points. And Custodes into Eldar, we knew we were going to lose it. We were hoping for like 5 or 6 points. We only got 3. Uh, Other upsets, Thousand Suns into Custodes, he thought he was going to lose the matchup, like get 8 points, like 7 points maximum. But he won it with 11 points, which was good for us. Our Imperial Knights into Space Marines. We thought we were gonna do like 15 points, but he lost. He drew. He only got 10 points again because of the Knights 4-up game. It's
Hmm.
uh, it's a 4-up game. It's a coin toss every time. Will he do his saves? Yes, we're gonna win the matchup. He failed his saves. I guess we lost this one. That's why I said we should have brought the Imperial Knights. Maybe other teams
Hmm.
had the same idea by the end of the tournament. It was a really swingy army, so to say.
Yeah, yeah. Like we said, it needs a lot in the team environment, tables, etc., protection and pairings. So yeah, knights were a bit of a coin flip at times. Maybe not the best of choices.
Yeah,
Um, right, but you drew this game as well. However, as you've mentioned, you weren't so confident after the pairings going into that one. So I guess you did end the day on a high because obviously getting a draw from a uh, pairings matrix that's painted in autumn colors is probably a
yeah.
good thing.
No, we were pretty happy after the first 3 days.
Hmm.
We were pretty happy with how it went. I mean, we only lost 2 games against really two good teams. We got 2 draws and a win. We were pretty confident. We were like a little afraid of the last day, seeing that we had 2 draws, 1 win, and 2 losses. We were thinking that we'll get a really good team. Like I don't know, like last year in our last game, we got Denmark, which is a really good team. It was really surprising for us, and they completely devastated us. We were thinking, oh shit, we're gonna get another good team.
Hmm.
This is our end of our good luck, so to say.
But in the morning you got Luxembourg.
Yes, we also played them last year, and we beat them as well last year.
Hmm.
So we were confident going into the matchups. Of we looking at the pairing matrix and what we got here, we were it's a lot looking a lot greener compared to the other teams. So yeah, we were more confident. Not to say that we had some upsets as well, but
Hmm.
um, for example, our what's this? Again, we had the Imperial Knights mirror that we lost. Again, we couldn't do the 4-ups. And our Space Marines into Necrons, we were more confident, but I think he got like 5 points or 6 points, something like that. But the rest of the matchups went really good for us. Our Chaos Space Marines were paired into their GSC when we
Hmm.
won the matchup 16-4, which was amazing for us. Our
A
Eldar
solid
player,
score.
yeah, against GSC was good for us. Eldar against Thousand Suns, we won again 16-4. Imperial Knights into Imperial Knights, we lost it, unfortunately. Then our Gene Stealer cult was paired into Eldar, and we won 13-7, which was amazing. Winning against the Eldar is always nice.
Hmm.
Um, our Custodes played the Space Marines, and they drew 10-10. Necrons played the Tyranids. We won 13-7. Space Marines, Necrons, we lost. I think we took like 5 points or 2 points. I don't know exactly. I don't have the scores here. And then the last one was Thousand Suns into Custodes. That he said it was a swingy matchup. He thought it's gonna like take 8 points or 10 points, and he ended up taking 15 points in the end. So I think the basically I think the Thousand Sun Custode player was the matchup that actually won us the round.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
he was the last game going on and was like, come on, get some points, we can do this. And then he said 15 points was, yes, thank you. You're the champion.
Excellent. So you've got another win under your belt to add to the one you had against Bulgaria, and last game you faced Northern Ireland.
Yeah, we played them against last year as well. I forgot what we did against them. I think they beat us. I don't remember what happened last year. But we were pretty confident going into the matchups, especially after the pairings.
Hmm.
We were really happy how the pairings went for us. And let me just find, because I didn't write all the results. I think we're on table 15. No, this is.
Table says 18.
But Best Coast pairing is not cooperating with me. 13, 15, 18. There we go. So our Gene Stealer cult was paired into the Necrons. We lost this one. The GSC player only took 9 points. Our Chaos Space Marines was paired against their Eldar. Unfortunately, we had to pair them again, but he took 4 points from Eldar, which was good for us.
Hmm.
Our Necrons was paired into Space Marines again. He won 16-4. Our Custodes were played the Chaos Knights. I remember this matchup was I think it favored the Chaos Knights, but the Chaos Knights rolled incredibly bad the whole game. I mean, I'm sorry for their Chaos Knight player. I mean, I was walking around the tables. I got to their table. He was rolling the attack the dice for the Meltas all once. He screamed, "Get away from my table! You're bringing bad luck." Then next round, I come back to the table. He's shooting the metals again. All ones again. He goes, "No, stop coming to this table. You're really bad luck for me." And yeah, he had horrible luck the whole game. So, and we ended up winning that matchup. Our Eldar player plays against Chaos Demons. Our Eldar player won 19-1.
Hmm.
The Chaos Demon list was Be'lakor and a lot of greater demons, like uh, two Lords of Change, one what the name Lord of Change was it called? Fate Weaver. I forgot his name.
Hmm.
Demon Prince and everything. And by the end of the first turn, I think Eldar killed three three birds, two birds and one demon prince, stuff like that. It was horrific for the demons. But again, Eldar, you can't. There's nothing you can do against them. Uh, then we had Thousand Suns against Custodes. Yeah, we drew this game 10-10. And then we have Space Marines against Gene Stealer Cult. We took the Space Marine list specifically with the idea that it would scare the Gene Stealer because of we had 2 units of infiltrators, we had no loss shooting, and we thought that it would be a good matchup against Gene Stealer Cult. He didn't get to play against Gene Stealer the whole tournament. until the last game of the tournament. He didn't play against GSC at all. I don't think he played in ninth edition against GSC as well. So he had an idea what they did on what to do against them,
Oh
but
man.
yeah, he finally got to play what he was meant to do the whole tournament, and he won the matchup 12-8. We were really proud of him, so he was really happy. And the last was Imperial Knights against Thousand Suns. We were afraid of this matchup, but unfortunately for the Thousand Suns players, he lost Magnus for turn one,
Hmm.
and it all spiraled out of control for him from there. So we won this matchup 17-3. In the end, I think we got 100 and something points. It was our biggest win of the tournament, 104 points or something like that. I forgot
Hmm.
what we got.
101.
101 points. Yeah, it was our
Yep.
biggest win. So yeah, we were really happy with our performance so far.
Yeah, and that gave you 8 points in total, which was the same as Denmark, Canada, New Zealand, and Greece.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, out of that group, you had the least battle points, so to call them,
yeah,
which
because of the
placed
two
you.
the two losses against England and
Hmm.
Spain. We only got like 50 and 49 points.
Yeah, which placed you at 17th, which, as we've already said, is granted you the most improved award. So, once again, congrats on that. Um, so, you've already started mentioning at least one of them, but what are your takeaways from this year's event?
So our main takeaway was that a non-playing captain slash coach is a really good thing. It really helped out a lot, I think.
Hmm.
I used to play at all the WTCs and ETCs so far, so I don't say I'm a bad player or a good player. I'm an average player, but this year me not playing I think was a really good decision for the team. Um, Other things were, I think, the team composition this year. We didn't have so many, so to say, we covered our backs. How to say? I mean, we didn't have
Hmm.
like last year where we were all afraid of the same matchups. Everyone was
Hmm.
afraid of Tyranids. Everyone was afraid of Chaos Knights or stuff like that. Or
That's a little too many buses to be thrown under.
exactly, that was our main problem last year. This year we only had like one player to throw under the bus, our Space Marine player, and he always brought points, which was amazing for us. He never got unless until the first game with Spain. I think he got 20-0. The other
Mhm.
games he never lost to zero. He always brought back points, which was what he was supposed to do. Getting thrown under the bus, get some points, lose, but get some points.
Mhm.
Uh, and what else? Yeah, I think the new guys that we brought this year were really good for the team. The Necron player and the Thousand Sun player, they really helped out the team this year. Generally, when we make our team, we have a really strong 7 players,
Mhm.
and then we always end up, okay, we need an eighth. Who's gonna be the eighth player? I don't know. I have a friend who can come. Okay, bring him. And our eighth player is not so good, so to say. Like this
Mhm.
year, I was confident with all our 8 players. Even the Space Marine player that didn't play games, I knew he was a really good player from post for last ATCs
Mhm.
and WTCs, and I was really confident in the team this year. So and actually paid off, I see. Even if 17 is not that great of a place, so to say, but for us, it was a really good improvement. It really felt great.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you got an award for it, right? So.
Yeah, that was amazing. I remember that I was staying on the couches, and the Australian team, someone from the Australian team, asked me to hold the phone for them so they can
Mhm.
film them when they were getting an award or something.
Uh-huh.
And then we were called to the stage, and we go, here, take your phone back. I need to go there. It was it was really nice. Yeah, it was amazing.
Congrats again. And last thing I wanted to ask, so any plans and ambitions for next year then? So have you already got like an improvement plan going forward or anything?
So our goal for next year, I think, is to turn one of those draws into a win. So um, maybe yeah, get one more win, turn one of those draws into a win, or get one more win.
Hmm.
Um, Hope to train more against other teams. Like we have a whole year now to train more to get to know this edition better. Hope Games Workshop doesn't throw any new curveballs with more Eldar like armies. Um, although,
Oh yeah, fingers crossed.
yeah, although the thing is that Eldar being so overpowered this tournament is was a good thing for us, at least, because we knew we had a list that would always bring points, if and we also always had a matchup that we would lose against the Eldar. And basically, it was a race for our Eldar to get more points than their Eldar player. In other
Yeah, I think it was
editions,
very much the case for a lot of teams, if
yeah,
not all of them.
outscored the opponent's Eldar player or their GSC player, stuff like that.
Yep.
Let's see what they do next year with I don't know when the Eldar book is supposed to come out, if it's gonna come out
I
at all
don't
next
think
year.
it's announced. I don't think it has been announced in the next couple of releases that they have revealed. I don't think the Elder book is there, but I'm not 100% sure.
So yeah, there's a chance that we're gonna see the same Eldar next year. I think they're gonna nerf them somehow until next year, definitely. But we're still gonna see Eldar.
Oh, there are like four balanced data slates, right? Or at least there should be before next year's event, so they have their chances to nerf them.
Yeah, they tried this with Drukari last edition, so they took them like a
It
lot until they fixed them.
Yes, exactly. It took probably about the same number of attempts before actually before they hit the nail on the head. Okay, Bogdan, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on, dialing in all the way from the land of Dracula, which I was going to use that joke when I was introducing you, but obviously I forgot. And once again, congrats to Team Romania on the Most
thanks
Improved
for
Award, and
thanks for having me.
it was a pleasure. And fingers crossed for next year's performance.
Thank you. Hope to do hope to do better next year.
All right. Thanks very much. Uh, and to our listeners, please remember to like and subscribe our content if you like what we do. And obviously, consider becoming a patron because that is a thing for almost a month now, I think. You can get quite a lot of cool merch that no one has received yet. So you'd be the first ones to get your hands on that. And also, we're doing bonus content from now on. So do consider that. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and bye bye.